So I'm joined in interview by the voice of the Moody Blues, singer-songwriter, the incredible Justin Hayward. With over 55 million album sales and numerous awards, Justin has teamed up with singer-songwriter, producer and conductor Mike Batt to create a brand new digital two-track single, Life in a Northern Town. Very good morning to you. It's lovely to speak to you.
You too, Michelle. Yeah.
Do you know what struck me when I was putting the questions together? 55 million. That is what artists dream of. That's a phenomenal amount of sales.
Do you know, I don't know what that means anymore. I mean, I know that means units when there were such things as units, but yeah, I'm not sure how how they calculate that kind of stuff nowadays. But that was what it was the last time they looked.
Yeah, that's
I,
incredible. Before we talk about life in a northern town, what is your earliest musical memory?
oh, Michelle, my earliest musical memory. I mean, my brother and I, we didn't have a record player. We inherited a gramophone from my grandfather, actually, in Swindon. And but my earliest memory is musical memory that meant something outside of church, because I love the New English hymnal, and we always used to sing that in assembly at, junior school. And I thought, oh, I really like these hymns. But outside of that, pop music, it was a guy called Johnny Ray who had a real cry in his voice. People
Yeah.
of a certain age will remember Johnny Ray, and he did "Crying in the Rain." And anyway, a wonderful voice, great singer.
And when did you actually sort of pick up the guitar or find your voice yourself?
Well, let's say I kind of knew I could play guitar, and I pestered my parents for a guitar when I was 8, and I'd had some big because I sort of had a musical bent ish. They organized for me to have some piano lessons when I was at junior school, but then I pestered them when I remember this clearly when I was 8, and for a guitar. And they didn't buy me a guitar. They bought me a little ukulele, and I could play that easily. Ding, 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 ding. It's just the top. It's the chord shapes of the top four strings of a guitar.
Yeah,
And then when I was 10, I had a guitar, and I was off. I was
yeah,
forming groups then at school, and did pretty well at school actually, at the grammar school in Swindon. Because there was always lots of venues to play,
yeah.
which for kids it was great. School socials and church clubs and things like that. It was
Mm.
brilliant.
Do you remember the first song you ever wrote? The
Oh,
first
darn, the
original?
first song I ever wrote. Um, no, I don't remember the first song I ever wrote, but I know that I was very lucky because when I left school, I worked in an office for about 2 months while I was answering ads in the Melody Maker, and I got a job with Marty Wall, and I was him and his wife Joyce's guitar player for a while. And it was then that Marty really told me, to survive in the business, you have to write your own songs and create your own identity. So I started writing then, and yes, and then really that's what brought me to the Moody Blues about 2 years later. Well, when I was 19 in the summer of 66. Yeah,
Yeah. And just for people out there, Marty Wilde is Kim Wilde's dad,
exactly.
who I was, but fantastic. Both of them are fantastic. So you joined in about 1966, and did you have immediate hits then with Moody Blues, or did it take a little bit of time?
Well, I wish, I mean, no, I came to the band and they were doing covers and rhythm and blues covers, and I really wasn't very good at that. But Mike Pinder, the keyboard player, and it was really his purpose to get us doing original material, and that's why I was there. And we had a kind of minor hit with a song of mine early on called "Fly Me High" that the BBC played, and they used it as a jingle on some program. anyway, it was called Fly Me High, and then uh, in early 1967, I wrote Nights in White Satin, and then it didn't get recorded until about the September of '67, and then after that, Nights slowly became a hit and became the kind of sound of the Moody Blues. Yeah.
How do you start the songwriting process? So if you go back, whether it's solo Moody Blues, is it
Yeah.
different every time? Do you get a melody, or are you always writing lyrics, or is it just depends on the mood?
Well, I write a lot of stuff down and I keep a lot of notes, lyrical notes, which I find to be totally useless, but it never seems to work out that way. I have great imaginings of how brilliant these songs are going to be. But actually, Michelle, they usually come out of a guitar. I'm a guitar player, and they usually come out of a guitar. A guitar is so rhythmic, it will kind of suggest things, and it's often the sound of the lyrics that's more important than the, the way your mouth gets round lyrics is often more important than what's said. And so I usually start with a guitar and a chord sequence and maybe a chorus, and then I fill in the gaps after that and try. But the only thing I do know is that I've always been lucky enough to be able to write um, from the heart. I've never been under pressure to write to come up with a hit or anything like that. Of course, I thought I had lots of times come up with a hit, but you need a few million people to agree with you, which they hadn't. But yes, so I just do what feels right to me.
Do you ever feel a song is gifted to you from the universe because it comes through so quickly, it's
Oh,
almost like you didn't write it? Have you had that? And if so, what song sticks out for you the most?
well, that's a question, isn't it? I think it does. It's a bit like singing, really. I think everybody can sing. It's just that some people have a sort of unique sort of physical quality in their voice box that makes it just easier to control and manipulate than other people. Um, I don't know about that thing about songs coming from some other part of the universe. Um, and the answer is I don't know because because it's hard work. Because it's hard work, and then I've never had a song just go bing, and then it suddenly arrives fully formed.
Mm.
Usually there's something else involved, but if it is, but if it is a gift from the universe, I'm very grateful.
Now, you've written so many incredible songs, and musicians would just love to write one to have something that is played forever and for generations as well. Do you have a personal favourite of all the songs you've written? And would it be a one that is very well known, or is it one of the gems on one of the albums?
Oh, well, what a kind way to put it. Well, I think my favorite would probably be. I didn't think I'd ever written a hit. I mean, Nights and Tuesday Afternoon and Question were quite sort of particular and individual and quite different to what was in the charts. But in the mid '80s, we were lucky enough to work with a producer called Tony Visconti, and he had just a way of making records that the everything was about the balance and getting the balance right um, on the desk. And we made a record called Your Wildest Dreams, which was a big hit in the US. And I think that was the first time I thought, oh, I've actually made a pop record. And that and the record that followed it, which was all from my same drum machine tempo, which was called I Know You're Out There Somewhere. Those two, I think, are my favorites. Really, because they gave us success. I mean, when Wildest Dreams and I Know You're Out There Somewhere came out, I would have been about 40. And to have success kind of a second time round at that age, we still look good in the group, was a great gift. And that those two songs are my favorites. I think.
Are you still on tour? You've got the Blues World Tour. Are you still sort of touring at the moment? I know you're doing some UK and some European dates because I think you've just been in the USA, or are you just going to the USA?
I'm just going. I start in Fort Lauderdale at the weekend.
Oh,
Yes, and
wow.
I'm zigzagging up through the US for the next couple of months. Yeah, I'm
What do you,
saying yes, Michelle,
yeah,
to quite a lot of things. I think that's what I find myself doing. I get the phone call and I think about it for a few seconds. Okay, and
yeah.
then I say yes, kind of stuff.
What do you love about gigging? You've been gigging since you were, a teenager. So what do you love now about gigging? And has it changed over the years?
Well, it's changed greatly. I do feel for young musicians now because we were talking about when I was at school before in groups, and there was always a venue to play. I'm not sure whether there are that many venues now. In the Moody Blues, I mean, we were always people's for the first few years, we were always everybody else's opening act or just also ran on the bill kind of thing. We were never top of the bill until sort of about the mid 70s. But touring has changed vastly, but I still do love being with my crew, being with the musicians that I love, and discovering songs that I maybe only just did on a recording that I've never actually done live before, and that's a lovely thing. Of course, I think Keith Richard said it right. Really, he said we get paid for the two. We don't get paid for the 2 hours on stage. We'd be doing that anyway. It's the other 22 we get paid for. You're
Yeah,
trying to get there.
yeah. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of work that goes into it. Now let's talk about working with Mike on Life in a Northern Town. It's you've got the A side, which is Life in a Northern Town, and then the B side is a new live version of the Moody Blues, Hope and Pray. So tell us how this came together, because you knew Mike from when you were a teenager, did you, or
I
start?
knew Mike from when we were pretty young. I don't think I knew him that, but anyway, from when we were the late 20s, I suppose. And then he asked me to do something on a, to play a little part in a musical that he was putting forward, and we did sort of one or two op shows at the Royal Albert Hall with a Lewis Carroll story that he turned into a musical called The Hunting of the Snark. I did that. And then Mike and I, as we were friends, we would just talk about what would we do if we came together. And we recorded an album called Classic Blue together, which was all popular songs, but recorded with the London Philharmonic Orchestra. And my voice just seemed to sort of sit well with it and Mike's arrangements. And we had some success with that. It was really nice. And then last year we had an opportunity to do it again. And we only had the London Philharmonic for just an afternoon, but we put some songs together, and Life in a Northern Town was one of the songs that I think we didn't do off the first time. But I'm glad we waited, because this version now, I think it's one of the nicest things I've ever done. And Mike's arrangement is beautiful. The song suits my voice, and I hope it really gets success. I know it deserves to. And Hope and Pray is a song that I always loved. Never got on the radio kind of thing, but then one of my own personal favorites from the Moody's time.
Yeah, the actual sound is beautiful because that orchestra, and it's incredible. Did you do it all in? Were you actually with the orchestra and singing live at the time, or did you come in afterwards?
Well, it was a 3 hour session. We had three songs to do, and Life in a Northern Town. I can't tell you what the others are because we haven't got a deal on those yet, but we did them. But there was a vocal booth set up for me, but actually the day was so kind of, or the 3 hours was so kind of frantic, and the last thing the engineer needed was me in a vocal booth trying to do my vocal. So I took all of the tracks back to where I record in Italy and did the vocal. with my own microphone and mixed it there. And so, no, on Classic Blue, I did them all live at the time, but this time I just needed to kind of think about it. But as a singer, the interesting thing was, from my point of view, that once we decided to do Life in a Northern Town, I never again, after the decision, I never listened to the Dream Academy version again. I
Mm.
just wanted to do my own version and do the song as I remembered it. And I hope Gilbert and Nick, I think it is, who wrote the song. Lots of people cover Nights in White Satin, and people say, "Do you like it?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't mind it,"
Yeah,
and I hope they don't. That's the most I can ask of Nick and Gilbert with
yeah,
this. I hope they don't mind it.
yeah.
That's it.
So this is out at the moment, and it will be everywhere across Spotify and all the digital, etc. Is there any plans to do this? Because you were saying you've got more songs that were recorded. Then
Yeah.
are you going to do anything live with Mike with an orchestra? Is that something that might come up, or?
Well, it has come up since we've done Life in a Northern Town, and I think I'm hoping that we can form that and put together. We haven't made a definitive date yet, but I'm certainly being asked from a number of orchestras in the US actually, and where each or most towns in the US have a sort of subsidized, professional orchestra, which they have a season for from June until September, and I'm hopeful of that. It can go as part of that kind of canon,
Yeah.
really.
Oh, that would be amazing. And it's been great to talk to you. Now, this double A side is out at the moment, so that's Life in a Northern Town. Then the B side is the new version of the Moody Blues, Hope and Pray. And you can hear it across Spotify and everywhere else. And also, if you're looking to go and find out where Justin's playing next, he's going to be in the USA, and then you'll be able to catch him over in the UK with some dates, and also in Europe as well. It's been wonderful. Thank you for sharing your time with me today.
Pleasure, Michelle.
It's lovely.
Absolute.
And
Okay.
we're going to be playing the song at the end of the interview as well.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Oh, lovely.